So we are sitting in Ray's world, and this is probably one of my favorite kind of personal collections that people have, because it's if you've been watching the channel, and I don't know when this video is coming out, but if you saw the video on Brody, amazing guitars, right? If you haven't seen that, go back and watch it. But, you know, it's kind of focused on electroacoustic guitars. There's some other things, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is...
Yeah. This is eclectic.
Right. This, we have Rezos, we have mandolins, you have lap steels, electric guitars, amps.
Well, I kind of built it and put it all together so that I could get people to come here. Because I'll give you a good example.
It's
This
working.
is the most effective track I've ever seen.
Well, I'll give you a good example. The drum kit. I bought the drum kit used from Josh Middleton, and I figured that if I had a drum kit here, you could call a drummer up and say, hey, just bring sticks, we're going to jam. And the drummer's going, I'm in. But if he has to lug a whole drum kit down a flight of stairs, he's going, well, I'm busy tonight, I can't make it.
Right.
So it's same thing with the basses are all things that I like to play, and anybody that comes down is more than welcome to play them. But the guitars are kind of a collection of different guitars that make different sounds, so whoever comes down can find the guitar of their choice, you know?
And it is not hard to do.
Thank you.
It's not hard to do. So, I mean, I'm going to try, I hate to do this on camera, but I'm going to try and take this beautiful guitar and slide it. Oh my gosh, Ray.
Go high and come down.
Ray, why do you have it so close?
Because
All
that
right,
way you get more on the wall.
Because he can.
So, I'm going to slide that there. Tell us about the mandolin.
This is a 50s Gibson mandolin. This is totally stock except for the knobs. And I found it years ago, and I liked the way it sounded acoustically. And when you plug it in, it can hold its own with any guitar that's out there. And this was my primary blues mandolin for as long as I've owned it.
And the pickup was stock?
This is all stock, totally stock. It's called an E150 mandolin. The whole thing is stock the way it is. Like I said, except for the knobs, they were all kind of corroded and everything, and I replaced the knobs. But no, it has a nice warm tone acoustically. And electrically, it's amazing. It just sparks right out.
That's awesome. So I was thinking, there's no way we're going through all the gear down here. So maybe let's just pick a couple things out. If you want to pass that to PJ, let's pick a couple things out. I know this is special.
It's calling that right back. It's calling that Sam. I don't want to bring that bass with me. That can kill me.
I know that this is a special guitar.
A long time ago, I owned a Purple Heart Tele. And through the years, you just swap and trade and everything, and it disappeared, and I decided that I wanted another Purple Heart Tele. Now, this guitar might be, might not look like it looks, but the guitar weighs 11.5 pounds.
This is a shockingly heavy guitar, which is probably why it's still sitting in my lap, actually.
And the resonance out of it is amazing. So I decided I was going to try to create the sounds that I like to hear in a guitar. So I got together with Kevin Schoaf, who's a luthier, builds guitars, unbelievable repairman of anything that breaks. He's located in Harrisburg. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him online, kevinschoaf.guitar. And he created this guitar, and I don't want to get too technical, but it's an acoustic guitar and then an electric guitar. This button brings in the acoustic pickup. And this is the tone, and that's the volume. And then to play it like a Tele, you just, regular Tele. One, in the middle you got both pickups, and at the end you got the other one. But because I could never get these two together, because it goes one.
It's like a Strat.
Yeah, it's like a Strat, but I couldn't get these two to play together. When you put it in the bottom position and flick the switch, this one comes on. So I can get it to sound like a real Tele. And it was my Telecaster, and with the electric enhancement, it's just a full-sounding, great rhythm guitar for me.
So it has a piezo pickup.
Right.
That's not on a switch, it's on a blend. You just blend the piezo up whenever you want it and blend it out.
It's a volume switch, yeah, for that.
And then stock Tele pickups.
Jason Lawler pickups.
Right.
Jason
so,
Lawler's.
Of course, Lawler pickups, because why would you put anything else?
Jason Lawler pickups, because I like Jason Lawler pickups, and they have a set made for, they call it a vintage Tele set that just sounded the way I liked it. And a Charlie Christian, because I'm a nut for a Charlie Christian.
Who makes that?
Lawler.
Lawler.
And if you put it in the middle, you get, the Charlie Christian alone, and then dial in some acoustic to go with it, and it's quite a nice sound.
So I don't know, Pat, can you look at the back of that screen if I just walk this over to the camera a little bit? Can you tell if it's in focus? Is it focusing?
Yep.
So we give you a little front shot of that.
And that's a roasted maple neck.
It's clear out. Yeah, that's nice.
So that, and we'll put down in the description for the video, we'll put a link to,
Kevin Shove.
right, so you can see who it is that made that. And I'm going to put that back on the stand. And he did this other one. Wait, I should. He did this one for you too, right?
Right.
So
this was originally a made in Mexico Tele guitar, and it had a neck that was like a spaghetti noodle. It was horrible, and I decided to make a 12-string out of it because I always liked 12-string, and I'm a rhythm guitar player, and it really feels really nice.
So he made the neck.
He bought the neck.
He bought the neck.
He bought the neck. And the nice part about the neck is, over here, on the side, is a truss rod adjustment.
Interesting. So, never saw that before. I think last time I was here, I had just bought a 52 Hot Rod Tele, and this was still a 6-string, because I remember these two switches, and this is a Lawler mini bucker.
Well, that wasn't a mini. It was a regular Tele then. I put the mini bucker in.
Right, because when I was here, you had that in because we purposely, because that 52 reissue comes with a Seymour Duncan mini bucker, and we were comparing the Lawlers to see if I wanted to order a Lawler. That's crazy. Nice. All right. I'm having fun now. You having fun?
Here's one you could look at. Look at that one. I want to put that out there. The 335 copy.
Right here?
Yeah. I bought this guitar in a used guitar shop because when I picked it up, whenever I test a guitar, I play an E minor. I don't know why, but I do. And this had the nicest sound, really nice sound. I have no idea where this guitar was made.
Not into
it. Where this guitar was made, who made it, or what. But everything was so well made, and when I plugged it in, everything sounded so great that I bought it. And it's a Quental, Quental. If anybody can find out anything about it, get a hold of the beard and let him know, because I'm still trying to search where this guitar came from.
So let's get that headstock in the...
Yep, that's good. Bigsby?
Yeah. There is a serial number on the back. I don't know if that... Is that all right?
Yeah.
I think that would...
Yep, that's good.
If that would help anybody.
I could never find anything out about it.
It is a nice... Feels nice.
It's as close to 335, I think, as you can get.
Interesting.
Let's play the neck pickup once.
Pedal box. That's why I'm behind the camera. I'm digging in Ray's trash while he's talking.
Well, that's one of those fuzz pedals that worked in the store but never worked at home.
At least the box is the only thing in the trash.
So, every time I'm in Ray's basement, this guitar catches my eye. And we'll start by putting it up here. Some people might have an idea. What do you think? We in? You
Yep.
think it, Pat?
Yep, sorry.
Jump up.
Neck through.
That's beautiful.
Spin it around.
Right through the ceiling. All right. Every time I'm over here, this thing catches my eye because the style reminds me a little bit of something Jerry or Phil would play.
Right.
And so, tell them the story.
This guitar was built by Michael Dolan as a decoration in California in an art gallery. Somehow it made its way to the East Coast, and I bought it from Elliot Michael at Rumble Seat Music. And it originally had Dirty Fingers pickups in it, which I don't like. So I put a spare pair of PRSs that I had in it, and as Jason can tell you, he's played it a couple times. It sounds pretty good.
Yeah, apparently these are McCarty pickups, and the three guitars that I like the most in my house are all McCarty, are all 2000, 2001, and I actually even think that that might even be around the era.
Around the year.
But yeah, didn't you say that you called?
I called the guy and I said to him, I sent him a picture of the guitar, and I said to him, "Can you give me some history on this guitar?" He says, "Where are you calling me from?" I said, "Central Pennsylvania." And he said, "How the hell did that guitar get there?"
Right.
And he explained to me the electronics. The electronics are kind of Alembic, but not. But the strangest thing about this guitar, for you guitar guys out there, there is no pickup selector on the guitar. It's tone, it's volume tone, and then this messes with the tone system. But this turns the pickups off and on. So if you're playing and you want to play the neck pickup, you're there. If you want to bring the bridge pickup in, if you want to go just to the bridge, you do that. But whatever you do, never do that, because then the guitar's dead.
Well, then you can.
you could
Oh, and this is like almost like a baritone or something.
exactly.
Is there? Well, no, there's no battery in it.
No.
Okay. Because they do. Alembic does have some kind of preamp system thing that they would use, like in
That's good.
Jerry's guitar.
Jerry's guitar has more electronics in it than it takes
Right.
to light the Statue of Liberty.
Right. So, anyway, that is. So, what would the maker? I guess it would just be his name.
So Michael Dolan Guitars, you can check online. He has a website. He does all kinds of different guitars, but this was a one of. There is no other one like this.
One of my favorites. I don't know why, but it is. Is there somewhere you'd like to go next, Mr. Santana?
Go to Gandalf the Wizard back there.
This. I was wondering if, boy, how come some of these are the weight always is shocking to me.
Well, the weight gives you tone, gives you sustain.
Yeah, I've heard that.
This was an eBay find. It has Gandalf the Wizard up here, and it's an octave mandolin. So it's a mandolin, everything an octave lower, and there again, Jason Lawler, Charlie Christian's in it, and volume tone and a blend. And you take this out when you're playing with guitar guys, and anybody that's trying to watch your fingers to see what chord you're playing is totally thrown off because I'm playing mandolin chords.
Right.
And this thing just plays, it sits right underneath the guitar, so it's very, very bassy, but it's a great rhythm instrument.
It's
It kind of reminded me of a Paul Reed Smith, Jerry Garcia type look, and I have a lot of fun with it.
Is it an actual company that's putting these out?
I think it's a handmade thing because this is not an octave mandolin neck. This is a guitar neck that they just created the freak that this is.
Okay. It certainly looks like it could get interesting.
But I try to keep a guitar that whoever walks down here and wants to jam can find something close to their liking.
How often do people grab Gandalf?
Only me. Scares everybody else.
What you said about that one? Did you want to?
Oh,
Just because that has some local history. I mean, we're not doing a local. I don't know if this is a local show, but
this guitar was a fundraiser for one of the radio stations in the Harrisburg area. I don't remember which one it is, but it's a 60s or 70s Gibson melody maker, and it's signed by Mitch Ivanhoff. It's signed by Charlie Middleton, Ed Coffey, a whole bunch of local blues guys, and they gave it away, and it ended up in a guitar shop, and because it had all the names on it, I picked it up and just hung it on the wall because it reminds me of some great people that I played with years ago.
yeah, those are some Middleton brothers and some names that, of course, Mitch from Krypton and.
So it's kind of got a local history to it. I don't know what a melody maker's worth, and it probably isn't worth anything more because these are local guys, but it meant something to me.
Which is, I think we're finding as we're going out and talking to people with collections, and like we haven't done it a lot, but we're starting to see a trend that people own instruments that have a lot of times have some kind of sentimental value. I know back on the wall, you mentioned some guitars that your son had played when he was in high school.
The bass on the end over there is the bass my daughter played when she was in high school. This is the bass my daughter played all through high school. It was, originally she played a jazz bass, but she couldn't reach that far. So I found this 3/4 bass at Leonard Reed's over in Mechanicsburg. His daughter, Jenny Reed, still has an active instrument site. She concentrates on acoustic instruments. And she was really cool when she went to school to play the bass because everybody thought it was a Beatle bass. But it just, for jazz bands and everything, it has flat wound strings on it and just kind of thunks along.
It's really light, too.
Yeah, it's a
Really
hollow body. It makes that sound that McCartney's Hofner makes, and it's an Eco bass is the brand, made in Italy. And it worked out well for her and just hangs on the wall because it was hers, one that didn't get rid of or trade for anything.
So like we were saying, like some of this stuff just gets that like sentimental value, right? So the little car with the
Like the amp you're sitting next to me.
Yeah. I said we were going to wrap it up. Let's talk about the amp. I've been searching. I've been waiting. So some people search, some people actively hunt, and they're willing to pay any price to get something. I always wait for that, if the right thing's there, it'll fall on you up. I've been waiting for the right Fender Vibrolux 60s something to fall on my lap. Tell them about the amp next to us, right? So,
That's another Mitch Ivanhoff story, believe it or not.
no, I totally believe it. That's why I've been looking for one.
He played a Vibrolux, and he told me, he says, man, you got to get this amp. It's the greatest amp in the world. You got to get this amp. And so one day I get this phone call, and it's him. And I said, what's up? And he said, I found you a Vibrolux. And it was down in Lancaster, and I went down and got it, and then I took it, and Tim over at Full Custom Music went over it, retubed it up and everything, and I've been playing it ever since, and you've been drooling at it ever since.
I have. I've talked Ray out of a few things in the past. This amp, I'm gaining no traction
Well,
on this amp.
As you can see, this amp sits right next to the PA system, so this is my amp.
Right.
This is what I test everything through. This is what I play through when I play down here. it's become a little too heavy for me to lug around now.
Right.
But this will always be my amp, and that's it.
You would think that you would start testing things out in the amps that you take out to your gigs. You know, maybe you want to get this out of the way. So there's other things. You mentioned Downtown Sound.
Well, it's not downtown. It's
not-
full custom.
Full custom now. You have behind me on the bottom an old
It's a copy of a Tweed
Tweed, right? That he made.
that he made
Oh.
from scratch.
And then on top, did he make this too?
Yes.
And that's a
That it looks like a Fender reverb tank, but it's actually a reverb tank and tremolo.
right. So we're talking Lemoyne, PA, full custom.
Right.
I know that you've done. You take everything there for amp wise, right?
Right.
And he's built you a lot of things as well.
Well, he built me that.
A lot of suitcase amps or something.
He bought me a suitcase amp. He built me an amp out of an old heater that I use for steel. It's a solid state 30-watt thing. It's perfect for gigs. It doesn't weigh any more than 10 pounds. As you get older, your tonnage gets lighter,
Right.
especially when steps are involved.
I understand. So I think what we're going to do at this point is kind of wrap up this, but we're not done hanging out with Ray. So if you like the conversation Ray are having or want to see more of the hidden treasures that he has all through this room, I would go ahead and click the subscribe button on YouTube so you can get notified when those come out, because there'll be more from Ray. And with that,
I'll step out from behind the camera.
here he is.
I'm sure this is my good side, but PJ, on behalf of the beard, reminding you, no matter what you hear, you never have too much gear. See you from Harrisburg.
Pat really struggles when there's not a lot of reverb
It
to
was,
end it with.
Yeah, I can't
A
have
lot
a
of
big distorted
distorted-
guitar feedback.
this was another story.